everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we be diving deep into the web-slinging world of one of the most iconic superheroes ever created. But before the blockbuster movies, the video games, and the countless comic book series, there was a simple, yet powerful, origin story that started it all. Let us rewind the clock to 1962 and revisit the tale of how a nerdy high school kid from Queens became the friendly neighborhood hero we all know and love. Our story begins with Peter Parker. He wasn't a billionaire, an alien from another planet, or a god. He was just a high school student, an orphan, living with his loving aunt, May, and Uncle Ben in Forest Hills, Queens. Peter was brilliant, a true science whiz, but that didn't exactly make him popular. In the halls of Midtown High, he was an outcast, constantly picked on by the school jock, Flash Thompson, and largely invisible to his crush, Liz Allen. His life was, for the most part, pretty ordinary and often a little lonely. Everything changed on one fateful day. Peter attended a public exhibition demonstrating the safe handling of nuclear laboratory waste materials. During the demonstration, a common house spider, completely by chance, found itself caught in the path of a particle accelerator's beam. Irradiated and glowing, the spider fell from its web and landed on the back of Peter's hand, biting him before dying. Peter felt a sharp sting and swatted the spider away, thinking nothing more of it. He felt a little dizzy, but he shook it off and headed home. Walking home, still feeling unwell, Peter almost stepped into the path of an oncoming car. He leaped out of the way, and to his astonishment, he didn't just jump, he flew 30 feet into the air, landing and sticking to the side of a building. He clung there, defying gravity, his mind racing. He realized the spider bite must have done something to him. He discovered he now possessed incredible spider-like abilities, superhuman strength, the agility of an acrobat, and the ability to cling to any surface. His senses were also heightened, giving him an almost precognitive awareness of danger, which would later be known as a... At first, Peter didn't think about fighting crime or helping people. He was a teenager who had just been handed an incredible gift. What was his first thought? To use his powers for personal gain? Of course. He saw an ad for an amateur wrestling match offering a cash prize to anyone who could last 3 minutes in the ring with a professional wrestler named Crusher Hoga. This was his chance to make some money and maybe even impress people for once. Using his scientific genius, Peter designed a unique costume to hide his identity and created a pair of web shooters that could fire a strong adhesive web fluid he had invented in his home lab. Calling himself the Amazing Spider-Man, he entered the ring. The crowd laughed at his skinny frame and strange costume, but their laughter quickly turned to shock. Peter effortlessly dodged Crusher's attacks and then, with one hand, lifted the massive wrestler over his head. He had won the prize money, and a television producer in the audience immediately saw his potential. Overnight, Spider-Man became a media sensation. He appeared on popular TV shows, performed incredible stunts, and reveled in the fame and adoration he had always craved as Peter Parker. He was finally a star. But this newfound fame came with a growing sense of arrogance. He started to believe he was above the everyday problems of ordinary people. This attitude would lead to a moment that would haunt him forever. After a successful TV appearance, a burglar ran past Peter, pursued by a security guard. The guard yelled at Peter to stop the thief, but Peter, full of his own self-importance, simply let the man go. He told the guard, "Sorry, pal. That's your job. I'm through being pushed around by anyone. From now on, I'm just looking out for number one, May." He didn't see it as his problem. Peter returned home later that evening to find his house surrounded by police cars. A police officer delivered the devastating news his beloved Uncle Ben had been shot and killed by a burglar. Grief-stricken and filled with rage, Peter donned his Spider-Man costume and set out to find the man responsible. Using his spider sense, he tracked the killer to an old, abandoned warehouse. He confronted the burglar, easily overpowering him and webbing him up for the police. But as he looked at the captured criminal's face, a horrifying realization washed over him. It was the same thief he had selfishly let escape at the television studio just hours earlier. In that gut-wrenching moment, Peter understood the terrible weight of his inaction. If he had only used his power to stop that man, his Uncle Ben would still be alive. The weight of his guilt was immense. Peter finally understood the words his Uncle Ben had so often tried to teach him. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. He realized his powers weren't a ticket to fame and fortune. They were a gift that came with a duty to protect the innocent and help those in need so that no one else would have to suffer the way he did. From that day forward, the flashy TV performer was gone. In his place was a true hero. Peter Parker continued his life as a high school student, struggling with homework, money problems, and trying to care for his grieving aunt. But whenever danger threatened his city, he would become Spiderman, the friendly neighborhood hero, forever driven by the lesson he learned on the worst night of his life. He would use his great power for the good of all, forever honoring the memory of his Uncle Ben. And that is the original, timeless story of how Spider-Man was born. It's a tale of tragedy, responsibility, and the making of a hero. It est what makes him so relatable, yes. Just a regular guy trying to do the right thing, even when it's hard. Thank you so much for watching and taking this journey back to the beginning with me. What's your favorite part of Spider-Man's origin story? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into comic book history. Until next time.